Time to go back in session. Minnesota Vikings are suing Wells Fargo. The Vikings claim the bank is trying to photobomb their new U.S. Bank Stadium by putting large Wells Fargo signs on new office towers they're building nearby. So the Vikings claim the rooftop signs will be bigger and brighter than previously agreed upon, meaning when the blimp flies over on game day, Wells Fargo will get lots of free publicity. Joining me now to debate, Whitney Boan, criminal defense attorney, and attorney E.J. Apt. Great to have the both of you on The Real Story today. So, Whitney, let me start with you. Apparently, there was some sort of an agreement that the Vikings had with Wells Fargo, correct? I mean, they signed this agreement about specific size of advertising. So who's in the right and who's in the wrong here?
Wells Fargo's in the wrong. I mean, it's the U.S. Bank Stadium, not the Wells Fargo Stadium. And you know, honestly, like, it's a little out of control. I don't understand why they would be doing this other than to get the free publicity out of it. And if they entered an agreement, and if they're in breach of that agreement, this is a very simple law, then they should be prevented from doing it any further. It hurts the Vikings' image. They have an agreement with U.S. Bank, who has sponsored the stadium, whose name is on the stadium. Wells Fargo can't come in and usurp all the attention and then expect it to not be an issue legally. Okay. They're going to have to pay.
Well, here's the Vikings' complaint. Wells Fargo has recently started installing mounted and illuminated rooftop signs that do not conform to the parties' agreement in an effort to permanently photobomb the image of the iconic U.S. Bank Stadium. So, E.J., do the Vikings, single-handedly win this?
Yeah, I actually agree. I think they do because it seems like there was an agreement. There's actually a contract between Wells Fargo and the Vikings whereby Wells Fargo wouldn't put illuminated signs or mounted signs on their buildings in order to get the zoning from the city to be near the stadium. And they've gone ahead and started to build that. So it seems like a pretty straightforward lawsuit where the Vikings win. My question would be really, first, if I were Wells Fargo, why not come up with an ounce of creativity and just paint the words Wells Fargo on the roof and use that as leverage to get a better deal rather than using mounted or illuminated signs? The second question I have is, if I'm the Vikings, instead of just filing a breach of contract lawsuit, file an injunction. Prevent them from actually taking these steps to mounting this stuff. And they haven't done that. I've read the lawsuit. I've actually reached out to them for comment. They don't have a reason why they didn't seek an injunction. I think they should have.
Maybe they're listening to this advice. Okay, now I want to get on to this. New Jersey man suing his ex-wife for causing emotional distress by writing nasty notes on the weekly alimony checks she's sending him, including loser, adult child support, and blank off and die. Okay, Whitney, come on. She's already paying him alimony. Can he actually sue her for writing in the little note thing what she thinks?
First, let me say on behalf of all of your lawyers everywhere, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with these two individuals, okay? I mean, this is ridiculous. It's juvenile. No, he doesn't have emotional distress from this. If he hasn't heard things like that thus far through his divorce, then he's been very lucky. But at the same time, while she's creative, and I admire that, she looks kind of like a loser, too. They both just need to let it go. All the time I'm telling clients, but you're just going to have to let it go, grow up.
But they might continue their spats, but is there a legal case here, EJ?
No.
Yes, actually, there is a legal case, and here's why. Unfortunately, it makes I agree with her, it makes all of us lawyers look bad, but if you take an intentional act, then you can, like she's doing and writing these nasty notes on the memos, you can actually sue for emotional harm. I don't think a jury's going to award him any damages.
It's her check,
though. It's actually interesting. It's a legal ploy to get more alimony. And what he's trying to do is squeeze more alimony out of her by filing this lawsuit. It won't get dismissed because what she is doing is an intentional act. And he's using it as leverage to try and get more money.
She has a First Amendment right to say these things. She absolutely does. Why can't she say this stuff?
And by the way,
because it causes emotional harm.
Okay, well, she found out about it from looking on his lawyer's Facebook page. So the plot thickens. We're going to try and end this on a peaceful way since it is Christmas Eve. Happy holidays to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you for having us on.
Happy holidays.